The day was calm, yet tension brewed as two brothers argued fiercely over their inherited land and possessions. Their voices clashed, attracting a gathering of villagers who watched helplessly as bonds unraveled in anger and distrust. Seeking resolution, the villagers approached the Buddha, resting under the shade of a Bodhi tree near the riverbank. The Buddha greeted them with serenity, his presence soothing like a gentle breeze, his eyes reflecting infinite compassion and wisdom. Listening intently, the Buddha focused on their words, his silence urging the brothers to reveal the depth of their conflict. Sudatta accused his brother, claiming unfair demands and a lack of gratitude that betrayed their shared upbringing and familial bonds. This leaf has lived its purpose. It now returns to the earth to nourish what will someday grow again. Buddha spoke. The disciples murmured softly, their thoughts stirring as they observed the simplicity yet profound depth of Buddha's chosen example. Brothers, your words are sharp, your hearts clouded. Can possessions truly outweigh the love you once cherished? He asked. The Buddha remained silent for a moment, his thoughts deep and unhurried, like a river flowing toward the sea. Ananda, he said, the pursuit of enlightenment is open to all beings, for the Dharma knows no boundary of gender or form. The Buddha continued, his voice like a river flowing with truth. What matters more, fleeting wealth or the bond uniting you? The brothers fell silent, recognizing the weight of their dispute and the damage it had inflicted upon their shared history. Attachment binds the mind, distorting clarity and provoking discord. Let go, for true wealth lies in harmony and mutual compassion, he said. Sudatta hesitated, questioning, Master, how can we find peace when the memory of betrayal lingers and divides our hearts? The Buddha replied calmly, forgiveness is the balm that soothes pain, the light that restores love in fractured connections. Sudatta and Anuruddha listened closely, their hearts stirring as the Buddha's wisdom illuminated the path towards reconciliation. Both of you have suffered, but suffering breeds wisdom when nurtured by introspection and understanding, he added with a gentle smile. The brothers exchanged glances, the intensity of their animosity giving way to vulnerability and an urge for restoration. The Dharma is like the sun, the Buddha said, gesturing gently toward the vivid expanse. It illuminates all who open themselves to its light, regardless of their gender or station in life. Sudatta stepped forward, his voice trembling. Brother, I have let anger consume me, forgetting the years we laughed and struggled together. Anuruddha responded, his tone softening. Sudatta, I too have clung to resentment, ignoring the love that binds our family. The Buddha watched as their emotions melted, allowing sincerity to emerge amidst the silence that enveloped the gathering. Share openly, but with kindness, the Buddha advised. Mindfulness is the release of invented weights, freeing us to soar, to ripple outward into lives we touch, lifting burdens alike. The disciples listened intently, the ripples in the pond fading back to stillness as Buddha paused, allowing lessons to settle. As their dialogue unfolded, the villagers witnessed a transformation, the brothers shedding pride for humility and compassion. The Buddha stood, addressing the crowd. Conflict arises from ignorance and attachment. By awakening wisdom, we nurture peace within ourselves and others. Sudatta reached out, grasping Anuruddha's hand. Brother, let us divide the inheritance with fairness, and rebuild the bond we have lost. Anuruddha nodded, a tear slipping down his cheek. Every faltering is a micro moment, a ripple unseen by the eye but shaping clarity anew as it echoes endlessly. Buddha explained. 1 disciple brought water to Buddha, gesturing toward the pond. The villagers dispersed, their hearts inspired by the brothers' reconciliation and the Buddha's timeless wisdom. Sudatta and Anuruddha returned to their home, working to divide their inheritance with fairness and respect. It is in patience we find the strength to reflect deeper, allowing each ripple to extend beyond surface distractions, Buddha said. The disciples nodded solemnly, appreciating the weight of patience. As Buddha placed his hands together, a gesture of gratitude and unity, harmony blossomed, not just within the brothers' home, but also in the village that had witnessed their transformation. The Buddha continued his journey, his teachings spreading like ripples across the waters of existence, touching countless lives. Every step he took brought wisdom and compassion, sowing the seeds of interconnectedness across the diverse paths of humanity. The brothers often spoke of that day under the Bodhi tree, when their hearts awakened to the Buddha's guidance. Ananda observed the bowl's emptiness and asked, "Master, why do you carry a bowl that holds nothing to sustain you?" Buddha smiled, stopping beneath a tall tree whose roots curled into the earth. "Do you find the bowl heavy, Ananda?" Ananda took the bowl from Buddha's hands and held it aloft. "It is light, Master, almost weightless. There is nothing inside." In the vibrant town of Vaishali, a young man named Kalyan seethed with resentment against his elderly father. The townsfolk, troubled by their fractured bond, gathered around the Buddha, hopeful that his compassion could heal the broken relationship. Kalyan approached, his voice sharp and his eyes clouded by fury as he accused his father of favoritism and unfairness. "My father has betrayed me, Master," Kalyan said, his emotions surging as he recounted moments of perceived neglect and unjust treatment. "Look at this water," Buddha said. "Its movement is unceasing, yet it carries only what the current allows it to hold." The Buddha gazed at them both, his words soft yet profound. "Anger is a fire. It consumes the heart, leaving ashes behind." Kalyan clenched his fists, struggling to control the flames that had long burned within his soul. Seeking guidance, the Buddha continued, "Why nurture flames that destroy peace when the water of understanding can extinguish anger and restore tranquility?" Kalyan hesitated, asking, "Master, how can I find peace when resentment clouds my judgment and my father's actions haunt me?" "Compassion is the key," the Buddha replied. "It opens the door to understanding, allowing love to replace bitterness." The young man lowered his gaze, his fury wavering as the Buddha's teachings began to illuminate his mind with clarity. Buddha gestured toward the forest canopy. "This bowl is not heavy, yet its emptiness symbolizes a burden created by the human mind." The father stepped forward, speaking softly, "Kalyan, I have made mistakes, yet my love for you is unwavering and true." Tears welled in Kalyan's eyes as he remembered moments of his father's care and sacrifice that anger had concealed. The Buddha observed their vulnerability, offering guidance. Pain cannot be erased, but it can be transformed into a pathway of connection. The father reached out, his hand trembling as he held his son's shoulder. "Kalyan, let us heal together." Step by step, the Buddha smiled gently, his presence a beacon of wisdom. Forgiveness does not absolve but liberates, bringing peace to fractured souls. Kalyan's anger softened, replaced by a longing to reconcile and rebuild the bond that had been damaged by discord. The villagers watched as father and son embraced, their reunion symbolizing hope and the power of compassion over division. The Buddha addressed the gathering. "Conflict robs the soul of harmony, but love and understanding sow the seeds of joy and unity." Kalyan and his father vowed to work together, nurturing their bond with openness, respect, and shared dreams for the future. The Buddha's teachings lingered, inspiring not just the family but the entire town to value connection over resentment and pride. Vaishali flourished, its people weaving compassion into their lives. Guided by the wisdom shared under the ancient Bodhi tree, the Buddha journeyed onward, his footsteps bringing light to the shadows of suffering, guiding humanity toward interconnectedness and peace. The story of Kalyan and his father became a reminder that even in pain, love has the power to transform and heal. Generations remembered the Buddha's words, incorporating forgiveness into their lives, nurturing connections that enriched their families and communities. Thus, the teachings endured, spreading like ripples across the vast ocean of existence, touching hearts and kindling hope in distant lands. Another day, another village steeped in turmoil sought the wisdom of the Buddha to mend wounds born of family discord. In Magadha, a household of 10 stood divided, each member locked in blame, anger, and the pain of misunderstanding. The Buddha, resting beneath a sprawling tree near their village, welcomed their plea for guidance with a compassionate, knowing gaze. One by one, family members approached, their voices trembling as they recounted grievances, each seeking validation for their suffering. The father lamented his son's disobedience, while the mother mourned the loss of unity that once defined their home. The siblings accused one another of betrayal, jealousy, and neglect, their anger building walls that kept reconciliation out of reach. The Buddha listened, his silence encouraging each voice to be heard, his presence a vessel for their pain and confusion. When the family quieted, the Buddha began, "A family divided is like a tree whose branches turn against the nurturing roots." His words echoed, in the stillness, carrying the weight of truth that pierced through the noise of lingering resentment. Can this tree bear fruit if its branches refuse to recognize their shared source of life and strength? He asked. The family exchanged glances, their hardened expressions softening as the Buddha's metaphor brought clarity to their shared predicament. He continued, "When pride and anger take root, they choke the bonds of love, leaving only bitterness and isolation behind." The eldest son stepped forward hesitantly, saying, "Master, we yearn for peace, but our hearts remain heavy with past wounds and distrust." The Buddha smiled gently, addressing the family. Healing begins with understanding that no individual is entirely faultless nor wholly blameless. He turned to the father, asking, "Do you see your children's struggles? Their fears? Their hope for your love and guidance?" The father nodded slowly, his tears revealing the remorse he carried for failing to recognize the depth of their pain. The Buddha then asked the mother, "Do you feel the longing of your children to unite under your love's warm embrace once more?" The mother clasped her hands, her heart aching as she saw the distant, yearning faces of her children before her. Addressing the siblings, the Buddha said, "Each of you bears a torch that can either ignite division or light the path to unity." They listened closely as he continued, "Choose forgiveness over pride, kindness over harshness, and you shall see the barriers fall." The youngest daughter spoke timidly, "But Master, how do we forgive when memories of pain and betrayal linger so vividly in our minds?" The Buddha replied, "Memory clings, but forgiveness liberates. It is a conscious act to transform pain into understanding and resentment into love." As his words settled, the Buddha reached for a leaf, holding it gently before the family. The disciples murmured quietly, their understanding expanding with each layer of meaning Buddha uncovered through his simple yet profound metaphors. Buddha placed the empty bowl onto the ground, inviting the disciples to gather closely, forming a circle where shared reflections could flourish. Like the tree, let your love endure, offering sustenance even when challenges weigh heavy on your branches, he said. The eldest daughter took her brother's hand, her voice quivering. "Let us try to honor our bonds and rekindle what we've lost, one by one." The family members embraced, sharing tears that cleansed wounds long kept hidden beneath the surface of anger. The Buddha, witnessing their transformation, offered a final teaching: unity strengthens the heart, and forgiveness plants seeds of enduring peace. The villagers watching nearby felt a ripple of hope. Inspired by the family's reconciliation and the Buddha's timeless wisdom, returning home, the family resolved to nurture their unity, building a household where compassion and understanding flourished. The Buddha's words continued to echo, shaping not just their lives but also the fabric of their community's relationships. Magadha thrived, its people weaving the values of love and forgiveness into every aspect of their shared existence. Generations remembered the teachings, passing down stories of how the Buddha turned discord into harmony through his compassionate guidance. The Buddha journeyed onward, carrying his light to those who wandered in the shadows of division, seeking connection and peace. Thus, the story became a beacon for all families, reminding them that love transcends anger and unity triumphs over discord. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.